Hello, 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 and welcome to my channel, Winterberryhearth. My name is Lisa, and I decided that I was going to do some videos as tutorials to teach people how to crochet. I learned how to crochet when I was 13 years old in the Midwest on a farm in the 70s. I found a pamphlet in my mom's stash, and I found some yarn and a hook, and I went through the pictures, and without any kind of video, but just by looking at the pictures and reading the description, I figured out how to crochet. And I have never stopped learning about crochet. And now we have videos out there, people crocheting. I mean, it's come a long way. But I thought that I would just go ahead and do my own video tutorial on stitches, but instead of doing just like a video tutorial on how to do a stitch, we're going to create something. It's actually a nothing. We're going to create something that's a nothing. It doesn't have to be anything special or unique. We're going to just practice, and I'm going to show you, instead of just doing stitches, I'm going to do a walkthrough of it. So grab yourself some yarn. I'm using worsted weight yarn. Does not have to be expensive yarn or good yarn. Get some scrap yarn, get some on sale yarn, worsted weight acrylic yarn, easy as can be. And a hook. Grab yourself a crochet hook. There are lots of different sizes. I believe this is a J hook, and it's a large hook. I'm going to start with a large hook. It'll make large stitches, and I think it'll be easy for you as my watchers, my viewers. It'll be easier for you to see my stitches if I use a large hook. Okay, so first thing we're going to learn how to do is to make a slip knot at the end. That's how we begin every crochet project, with a slip knot or like a magic circle or something of that nature. But for this, we're going to do a slip knot. Now, if you know how to do a slip knot, then go ahead and work it. Grab the tail in your right hand, and this is for right-handed people. I'm not doing this for left-handed, I'm doing it for right-handed. I do apologize, but grab your tail in the right hand and wrap it around two of your fingers and cross it over like that. Okay? Take the tail then and pull it through that loop you just made. Okay? Now you have what's called a slip knot. And a slip knot, here's your knot and here's your tail. You're going to want to grab that tail and hold the knot and pull it tighter to accommodate your hook. Now that's too big. You want it to be smaller than that. You want it to be something comfortable. Okay? Let's do that again. We're making a slip knot. You're essentially just making a loop. You're going to take the tail and you're going to tuck it in between that loop that you just made, just like that. Okay? And here's how I tighten it. Pulling on the tail. You don't want to be pulling on this. That's not going to tighten it. It's going to make the loop bigger. You want the tail to be what tightens it, because this is going to be your work. Okay? All right, so now you have a loop on your hook. That's your first loop. And when it comes to crochet, that's what we do, is we create a bunch of chains. This is called a chain. We create a bunch of chains. We create a long string of chains, however long we want our project to be. And then we work back across that row, and up and back across. And that's how we do crochet. You work a row, and you go up, and you go back across, and you go up, and you go back across. That's how crochet fabric is made. So the first thing we have to do is make a row of chains. So let's show you how to maneuver this. Well, second thing we should be learning is how to hold the hook and how to hold the yarn. Now, this isn't like driving a car. You're not got two hands on the wheel or riding a bike, two hands that are working in adjacent to each other doing the same equal opposite. That's not what this is. This is more like playing a piano. There are two hands that are each doing two separate things from one another, but working in unison to create the fabric. Okay? So this hand is going to be doing something different from this hand. This is your tension hand. And this is how I hold my yarn in my tension hand, just like that. Okay? And to create the tension, you're going to bring your fingers together and apart. That's what's going to create the tension. You can do tension here at this end. You can do it here at this end. Okay? You're going to want to make sure that you develop a good habit when it comes to tension because of arthritis. So find a happy way to make your tension. I don't recommend, I mean, I've done it where I've done it like this before, but if I get too warm, it's warm outside, or I'm a little sweaty, it doesn't work very well for me. So I just do it like this, and it will pull through, and I can hold it tighter when I don't want it to pull so tight. Okay, the hook in this hand, I hold it like this when I work my crochet. Some people hold it like this, but I do it like this, and I try to turn the hook with your fingers, or you can turn it with your hand. Do what's most comfortable for you to develop a good habit, because again, arthritis. Okay, so practice getting that tension in your hand. Now I find that if, like I said, if it's hot outside, or if it's like 100 degrees outside, I have a hard time with tension, because if I'm too sweaty, it's just not going to work. Well, likewise, if my hands are too dry, it doesn't work. I have to have the right combination of hand lotion and dry and moisture in order to make it work right. So find that happy medium. All right, so let's start making some chains. You've got your slip knot. You've got your first loop on the hook. Now, how do we hold the yarn so that we can work crochet? In this hand, my tension hand, I put my thumb and my second finger, and I hold the knot right here to start with, okay? And I hold it in a way that's comfortable with my tension, okay? Because what we're going to do with this then, we're going to hold this here. What we're going to do with this hand is we're going to grab that yarn and hook it on the hook. And then we're going to pull it through the loop. And that's how a chain is made, okay? So push your hook up on the loop, yarn over, and grab your hook, and you're going to want to turn your hook a little bit to catch it. Then you're going to pull down through the neck and the head and pull it through the loop. Okay, let's try that again. Yarn over and pull through the loop. Now I don't expect these to be perfect stitches. By no means are these going to be perfect. These are going to be wonky, and you're going to be doing this to try to get hang of your tension, and that's exactly what you're supposed to be doing. All that wild maneuvering around is how you're going to learn. So if you do it wonky the first time, take it apart and work it again. That's exactly what you're supposed to be doing, is practicing. It's like when you first drive a car, you oversteer or you overcorrect with the steering wheel until you get the cadence down. This isn't a fail. All of this is practice, developing your skill, okay? So create a few more chains. Let's do a few more together. You don't want this to be, excuse me, you don't want this loop to be too tight on the throat of the hook. You want it to have a little bit of play. And this is a big hook, so it can be really big. But you're going to yarn over, turn your hook so that the face of the hook lines up to the V of your stitch, and pull it through. I'm sorry. I have a dog that I'm fostering, and I think he thinks I'm talking to him. Don't you, buddy? Yes, you're a good boy. So just keep practicing while I take the dog out for a walk. And we're back. Okay, so hopefully you've been practicing your tension and your chain, making some chains. Yarn over, pull up and pull through. Yarn over and pull through. That's all you're going to do. You're just going to make a bunch of chains. Take it apart and rework it till you're happy with what you have. Okay? Let's do about 18. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18. Okay, and welcome back. We've been working on some chains. For our first nothing something, we are going to work 18 chains. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18. So make a chain about 18 long. Now, there are going to be two sides to this that we're going to be looking at to figure out what we're going to work into. This side here is called the back ridge, and we're actually going to work into those loops of the back ridge. This will be the end of the row, well, the beginning of the row actually, if you can look at it that way, because this is where we began, and then we're going to work that way on this. So what we're going to do now is we're going to work single crochets. Let me teach you how to do a single crochet, and we are going to be working into these ridges. Now, what you want to learn to do is to count these stitches. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. We wanted 18, and we're going to work single crochets back across. Now, it's good to know, to be able to see these and work into them as you go, because this is the very first one that you're doing. So we're not counting this because that's the 18th. We're counting this, the 17th stitch. I want my project to be 17 stitches long or wide. This 18th stitch will count as a chain 1, which will give us the height going up to come back across the row. So we don't count it as a stitch because it's like a turning stitch. So again, we are not working into this first ridge. That's the same stitch. We're working into this stitch, okay? You're going to insert your hook into that stitch. You're going to yarn over and pull up a loop, very similar to what you did making a chain. Now you should have what looks like 2 loops on the hook. And you're going to count upon your tension to help you make this a height that's comfortable or level to the loop that you already have. Now you're going to yarn over, and I turn my hook so that the beak of it, I don't know what people want to call it, but to me it looks like a little beak, so that the beak of it is falling into the V part of the stitch. Okay, we're going to yarn over, turn your hook a little, and draw through those 2 loops on the hook. Okay, let's do it again. We're going to insert our hook into the next stitch, yarn over, turn your hook a little to pivot it, to get it to work through that loop, and make them big so that you can see what you're doing. Yarn over and pull through those 2 loops on the hook. Okay, let's do it again. Just keep practicing. Insert your hook, yarn over, pull through the loop, yarn over and pull through 2 loops on the hook. Okay, insert your hook into the next stitch, yarn over and draw through, yarn over and pull through 2 loops on the hook. Okay, going to continue in that method. Insert your hook, yarn over and draw up a loop. Yarn over and draw through 2 loops on the hook. I think the terminology is, I'm probably not using it exact how it's supposed to be, but again, I self-taught myself. Insert your hook, yarn over, pull up a loop. Yarn over and draw through the 2 loops on the hook. Now some of your stitches might wind up looking like this because you're still trying to get your tension down. So you might have some stitches that are getting really wild and crazy on the backside. If that happens, just undo the wild ones and get back to where your tension is moderate. We don't want this to be super tight on the throat of this. We don't want it to be super loose either. And that's where I tend to do. I tend to wind up doing super loose because I'm sitting down or I'm doing this or that or the other, and I wind up doing this. But this should be something that's comfortable on that neck part of your hook, okay? And when you're trying to go yarn over and grab something, you are letting that loop slide towards that neck part. You're not going to where the words are, but you're going to go out of this part of the shaft, out of this part of the throat rather, and into this part of the shaft. Again, I don't know what the actual terminology is on there. This isn't what this is about. This is about where we're supposed to be. So when you go to insert that hook, this doesn't need to be here because you're going to put a stitch there. So let it be loose enough that it can go around on here just like that, but not so loose that it's just not matching up with the rest of the loops that you've made or what you're trying to work. So insert your hook into the stitch, yarn over and pull up a loop, work on your tension a little, yarn over and pull through 2 loops on the hook. Okay? Just keep practicing that. And like I said, I'm using, this is a J hook. I'm using a J hook. It's big. It's nice. You can see what you're doing. It's comfortable, very comfortable for worsted weight yarns. And you could even do bulky yarns if you wanted to. Now, if you notice that your work is, like I said, kind of wild and unmanageable, like my hair in the mornings, then you can unravel it and start all over. We haven't even hardly gone anywhere. Just chain 18 and work single crochets back. And you can see your stitches. Okay? So let's continue with our last 2. Insert your hook into the stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, and pull through 2 loops on the hook. Now we have our first row of single crochets. Okay, let's count them together. We just did this one here. So that's 1. There's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, and 17. Okay, these little, it's kind of hard to see with that big hook. This like little V thing here, that's a loop. We pulled through that loop when we made a stitch. That counts as 1 stitch. And if you look at it on this way, you can see we did a chain 1 here, and then we worked the stitch into that ridge. There's your second one, third, here's your 4th, here's your 5th, and on. Okay? Again, yank it apart and do it again if it doesn't seem right. Let's do another row of single crochet. We're going to chain 1 and we're going to turn our work. So instead of having it like we had it like this, we're going to turn it like that. Now we are not working into this, we are working into this. This is this right here, is the chain 1. Okay, this chain 1 counts as this first stitch. So we're going to work into this. You're going to insert your hook into the loop, into the stitch, yarn over and pull up a loop. You're going to yarn over and pull through 2 loops on the hook. Sorry, I had to get to the dog. Okay, so we're going to insert into this stitch, and unlike the first row, we're not working into the back ridge. We're now working into the loops, the V stitches that we made. We're going to be working through both of those. You can see that, both those loops. Now, some projects do call for you to work into just 1 on that side or just 1 on that side. And that's a different variations of ribbing. But we're not working that, we're just working a nothing. So we're going to work a single crochet into this, into both these loops right here. Okay? So insert your hook into that stitch, yarn over, and pull up a loop. Okay? 2 loops on the hook. Yarn over, pull through the 2 loops on the hook. And again, adjust your tension till you get to a comfortable place. Okay? insert your hook into the next stitch, yarn over and pull up a loop. 2 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through the 2 loops. Okay, and go ahead and work a few more of these. We're going to do 3 rows of this to make our nothing. Insert, yarn over, pull up, yarn over, pull through 2. That's your single crochet. Yank it apart and redo it if you need to. Okay. Now you can see the stitches just like we did last time. Here are all the loops that we pulled through. Each one of those counts as a stitch. And then if you notice here, we have our little, kind of like a little V stitch here. That's 1 stitch. There's another V stitch worked into this loop. There's another stitch, and so on and so forth. Okay. And as we continue to work rows, this is what makes fabric. And again, this is just a square. I will do circles later, but this is the easiest. This is the easiest to start off with. It's just making some simple rows. Okay, so let's do another row. Chain 1, turn your work. We are not working into this. We're working into here. Okay, this counts as 1, and there's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 15, 16, and working that last single crochet is a little difficult to see. Let's go to the last 2. Okay, the last was a chain 1. The second to last is a regular V loop. It is a little hard to see, but on this end you'll see here is the loop. Here's where you're going to put the hook for your second to last stitch, and here's where you're going to put the hook for your last stitch. Okay, and then right into there. Okay, 17 stitches. All right, let's do something a little bit different. This was 3 rows of single crochets. We're going to work some more single crochets, but we're going to do a variation of single crochets. And this is just going to be a single crochet. Then we're going to chain 1, we're going to skip 1, and then we're going to single crochet. Then we're going to chain 1, we're going to skip 1, and then we're going to single crochet. Okay? So we're going to start off with a chain 1, which does count as your first single crochet. We're not going to work into that because that is our chain 1. We're going to work into here. So that is a single crochet right there. So that's 2 stitches. Now we're going to chain 1. Now, anytime you do a chain 1, if you're going to keep your fabric to be the same width, then you're going to skip a stitch and work into the next stitch. If you were trying to increase, then you wouldn't skip. But that will come later into different patterns, and they'll tell you what to do and when. But what I'm trying to explain to you is if you do a chain 1, you cannot work a single crochet into the very next stitch. That will increase your project. If you do a chain 1, you must skip 1 to accommodate for that. The chain 1 is what is right above this chain right here this stitch right here that we're going to skip. Okay, so we've done a chain 1. We're going to single crochet, we're going to skip 1 and single crochet into the next. Okay, chain 1, skip 1, and single crochet into the next. Okay, chain 1, skip 1, and single crochet into the next. Chain 1, skip 1, and single crochet into the next. And let's do a single crochet together. You're going to insert that hook into the next stitch. You're going to yarn over and draw up a loop. You're going to yarn over and pull through 2 loops on the hook. Then you're going to yarn over and pull through the loop. That's chain 1. Then you're going to skip 1, and you're going to single crochet in the next. Chain 1, single crochet in the next, or skip 1 and then single crochet in the next. Now, when we get to the end, we're going to do 2 single crochets in the last 2 stitches. So work a single crochet in that second to last one and in the last one. Let's count this, make sure we have 17. Stitches. Okay. I do like to count often and at the ends of rows, especially when you're working on a large project, or use stitch markers. Stitch markers are very handy little guys to help you figure out how many rows you've worked, for example. And we've worked 3, but it looks like, it kind of looks like 2. If you turn it over, you can see we did 1 row here, a 2nd row here, a 3rd row here, and then this is the 4th row, which is our chain 1 row. It's difficult to see because it's just a single crochet. It's just a little bitty guy, okay? Let's do a single crochet row to separate this so we can see these chain 1 spaces. Okay, chain 1, turn your work. We're not working into that stitch, we're working into this one, okay? So now we have 2 stitches because chain 1 counts as the first stitch. We're going to single crochet into the next stitch, which is a chain 1 space. Then we are going to single crochet into the next stitch, which was a single crochet. And just continue single crocheting into each stitch and into each chain 1 space across. Okay. When you get to the end, I still have 2 left here. I'm going to single crochet into the second to the last and single crochet into that last one, which was a chain 1 space. Okay, let's just repeat this again. Let's do another chain 1, single crochet and chain 1 row. So chain 1, turn your work. We're not working into that. That is this chain 1. That counts as our first stitch. Okay, we're going to, if you notice how my finger is doing this, I'm like, oh, it's getting really wild. I'll just pull it back tight like that. Okay. Okay, again, we are not going into that stitch. We're working into this stitch. And we're going to do a chain 1 now. So chain 1 and skip the next stitch and single crochet into the next stitch. Okay, chain 1, skip the next stitch and single crochet into the next stitch, and do that across. Chain 1, skip 1, single crochet. When we get to the end, we have 3 stitches left. I've done my chain 1. I'm going to skip 1, I'm going to single crochet into the next stitch, and I'm going to single crochet into the last stitch. Okay. Now let's do another single crochet row just to kind of end things off evenly. Chain 1, turn your work. We're not working into that. That is our chain 1, but we are going to work into that first single crochet. Okay. The next one is a chain 1, so we're going to single crochet into that loop. Then we're going to single crochet into the next single crochet. Okay. And then single crochet into the next chain 1 loop, and just single crochet into each stitch in each chain 1 space across. And we're at the last 2, so we're going to just single crochet into that last stitch and single crochet into the last chain 1 space. Congratulations. You have worked two different kinds of stitches. It's really one with a chain 1, really one stitch, single crochet with a chain 1. But that's something. I mean, look at this, look at what you've done. You've made 3 rows of single crochets. Now that's kind of thick. The single crochet rows are pretty thick. And then we did some chain 1 rows with single crochet rows in between. And what it does is it kind of works like a variety. It works a little bit of a lace, if you will, or whatever, variety into the pattern that you're working. Okay, now we're going to graduate. We're going to work the next type of stitch. The next type of stitch is called half double crochet. You have a single crochet, which is a small stitch. Then you have a half double crochet, which is a medium stitch. It's in between that and a double crochet. A double crochet will work after the half, but so you have a single and a double, and then you have the half double in between, and they're 3 different heights. So let's figure this one out. A half double crochet is very similar to a single crochet in that it does only do a chain 1 to get that height for the stitch. Okay, turn your work. Now we are not working into that stitch. We are working into this stitch, just as we've been doing. And into this stitch, this is how we work a half double crochet. You're going to yarn over first. Instead of just working into the stitch, you are going to yarn over, okay? You're going to then insert your hook into that stitch, yarn over, and pull up a loop. You should now have what looks like 3 loops on the hook, okay? Yarn over and pull through all 3 of those loops. That is a half double crochet. Let's do it again. Yarn over, insert your hook into the next stitch, yarn over and pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. Okay, we'll do it again. Yarn over, insert your hook into the stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop. You know, use your fingers to create that tension. If it gets too big, just pull it back down where rein that thing in and pull it back down where it needs to be. Okay, yarn over and pull through all 3 loops on the hook. And continue that across. We're going to work up 3 rows of this so you can get some practice into it. Just remember to yarn over before you insert the hook. That's your half double crochet. Okay, when you get to the end, you're going to work a half double crochet into that last chain 1 space. Okay, chain 1, turn your work. We're going to do another row. We are not working into this stitch. We are working into this stitch. Yarn over, insert your hook into that space, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops on the hook. Okay, continue that across. Like I said, I do like to count my stitches at the end. It can save a lot of pain and frustration when you're trying to work a big project like a blanket. If you're a beginner, I would recommend you doing squares. Create little squares to create a blanket. You don't have to rip the entire thing apart. Okay, and when you get to the end, work a half double crochet in that last one. And look how it's shaping up. Okay, let's do 1 more row. Chain 1, turn your work. There's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. I seem to have lost one, didn't I? I lost a stitch. So we have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, and 16. I sure did. I lost a stitch down there somewhere. Well, the best way, if you find this and you're like, wow, I don't want to undo all this and it's not going to be detrimental to your project, the best way to accommodate for having lost a stitch is to just go back a few stitches and add 2 to that same stitch you just did. So I already have a stitch in this loop right here. I'm going to add another half double crochet to it. Okay, let's go to the end and let's count and see if I messed up. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, and there's the chain 1, 17. Wow, even I mess up. Maybe it's good to teach mistakes because you can learn how to undo them. And see, here's where we put 2 inside the 1. Okay, we've worked, what, 3 rows now of half double crochets? Let's do it. You guessed it, a half double crochet, chain 1, skip 1, and a half double crochet row. Okay, so chain 1, turn your work. We're not working into this stitch, we're working into this stitch. Half double crochet into that stitch, chain 1, skip 1, and half double crochet into the next. This is just practice. Practice to get you into the habit of how to do a half double crochet, how to keep that tension evenly, because you're pulling through 3 loops instead of the 2. And I am going to go back and count my stitches again. So we have 2, 3, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 15, 16, 17. Okay. Let's do a chain 1, turn your work, and half double crochet in the first single crochet, which we have 2 at the end here. So let's not, because the half double crochets are difficult to see. So here's the first stitch, that's the chain 1 that we just did, because this counts, the chain 1 counts. This is the stitch we want to work into. So we're going to half double crochet into there. We also need to half double crochet into the space. So we're going to half double crochet right there. Okay, let's do that again. We hit the end of our row. We're going to do a chain 1, return our work. We do not work into this first stitch, that is this chain 1. We are instead going to work into the next loop. And if you have a hard time seeing it, look at your ends where you see your V's and count those if you need to. We are not working into this one here. We're working into this one right here. Okay? So I'm going to work a half double crochet into it. And then we're going to work into the next stitch, which is the chain 1 space. So work into there. Then we're going to work into the next one, which is this, the half double crochet, which is right here. Okay? And into the chain 1 space and into the stitch. Again, these are a little hard to see. So I just did a half double crochet in the loop. I'm now going to do a half double crochet in the half double crochet on the row before, which is right here. I'm looking for this loop right here. Okay? Then you're going to half double crochet into the space and into the half double crochet. And continue on across. When you get to the end, again, it is kind of hard to see. And the last one, which was just a chain 1. I'm going to count my stitches again. So we have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 17. Okay, chain 1. We're not working into that first stitch, but we're going to work into this one. And chain 1 and half double crochet across. Just continue on the same way that we had been. And if you look at your work now, if it's working out to be the same sort of gauge and tension as mine, you're going to really start seeing these spaces in between your rows. We did a chain 1 space row with half double crochets, then we worked a plain half double crochet. Now we're working a chain 1 row again. So unlike the single crochets, these are a good bit bigger. I think I've messed up my rows again. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. I did. We're going to just add one more in the end. Okay, so we're going to work a plain half double crochet row, half chain 1, skip that first one, and work right into here. There's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, and 17. Okay, so now we did 4 rows of those. Congratulations. We are ready to go on to the next type of stitch, but feel free to work more rows of this if you want to get the practice down. Okay, our next row is going to be the double crochet. And the double crochet is taller than the half double crochet, so it does take a chain 1, chain 2 on the end to make that height to go back across. So chain 2, turn your work. We are not working into that first stitch. Actually, we're going to chain 3. I apologize. Chaining 3 is the height of a double crochet. We're not counting that first stitch. We are instead going to work into this second stitch, just like we have been. You're going to yarn over, and you're going to insert your hook into the next stitch. You're going to yarn over and pull up a loop. You should have what looks like 3 loops on the hook. Okay, you're going to yarn over, and this time you're going to pull through only 2 loops on the hook. Okay, now you'll still have 2 loops on the hook. Yarn over and draw through the last 2 loops on the hook. That is your double crochet. Okay, let's do it again. Just like a half double crochet, we're going to yarn over. You're going to insert your hook into the next stitch, yarn over and pull up a loop. Okay, yarn over and pull through only 2 loops on the hook. Again, correcting your tension as needed. Yarn over and pull through 2 more loops on the hook. Okay, and continue that across. Yarn over, insert your hook into the next stitch, yarn over and pull up a loop. Yarn over and draw through 2 loops on the hook. Yarn over and draw through the last 2 loops on the hook. That is your double crochet. Okay? Work a few of those, rip them out, rework them if you need to. This is all about practice. And this little something nothing here was a way to go from singles to halves to doubles. Just kind of a way to see how they look different when they're all together. Okay. Work all the way up to your last stitch, and then chain 1, 2, 3, turn your work. We are not double crocheting into that first stitch. We are double crocheting into this next stitch here, because this counts as our first stitch. Okay, so yarn over, insert your hook into the loop, into the stitch, yarn over and pull up a loop. Okay, yarn over, pull through 2 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through 2 more loops on the hook. Okay, again, yarn over, insert your hook into the stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop. Yarn over, pull through 2 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through the last 2 loops on the hook, and continue working your double crochets across this row. Again, when you get to the end, count 17. If you realize that you've made a mistake and you only have 16 or you have 18, go back and try and figure out where you made your mistake. That is how you're going to learn. If you're doing something wrong, it's a bad habit. So if you pull it out or go back and be a detective and figure out what it was and what you're doing to make a mistake, that's how you're going to be able to correct your habit and correct your habit and to do a correct habit. Oh my God, that's awful. That's how you're going to learn to correct your behavior and develop the correct habit. Okay, so chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and double crochet in each stitch across the row, just like we did before, working 3 rows of double crochets. This will get you some practice. And count as you go. I almost always count my rows, or count my stitches. We have 2, 4, 6, 8, there's 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, and I messed up. So I'm going to add another stitch. I keep putting this down, coming back, so it is kind of messing me up. There's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, and 17. In fact, I'm going to go back here a little bit and add again. Okay, now let's do a double crochet row. A double crochet row with a chain 1 and double crochet. Chain 1, skip 1, double crochet, chain 1, skip 1, double crochet, just like we did before. Okay, so chain 3, 1, 2, 3, turn your work, and work a double crochet into that first stitch. So we have 2 double crochets on the end. Chain 1, skip 1, and work a double crochet into the next. Okay, and do that all the way across. And we are going to do 2 double crochets at the end. Okay, so you have 2 double crochets here and 2 double crochets here. But there is what our chain 1 space rows look like. Okay, let's do another row of double crochet. Chain 3, turn your work, and work a double crochet into this stitch right here, the first stitch. There's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, and 17. Okay, it really makes those chain 1 spaces really pop out when you add a regular full row. All right, let's do another chain 1 space row. So chain 3, turn your work, and I'm going to work a double crochet into that first stitch right there. Okay, now we're going to chain 1, we're going to skip 1, and we're going to double crochet into the next one. And we're going to do that across. Now, some people don't like the chain 1 spaces. I'm sorry, let's do 2 double crochets in the end, just to end that row, okay? Some people don't like chain 1 spaces. They get so big. You can put your whole finger or toe through here if you're making a blanket. Well, let me tell you something. I grew up in the Midwest, and crochet blankets were really good for staying warm. I'll tell you why. Pretend this is my body. I'm in my bed sleeping, and I put my crochet blanket on top of me, okay? The idea behind a crochet blanket is you have your sheet, and then you have your crochet blanket, then you throw another blanket over the top of it. If it's really, really cold, you're going to throw a quilt over the top of it, or you might just throw another light blanket over the top of it. But you're supposed to put the crochet blanket under another blanket, okay? So imagine that I have another blanket over the top of this. Here's the concept of what happens with a crochet blanket when it's really cold and you want to stay warm. Crochet blankets will keep you so warm you won't believe it. These holes act like thinsulate or down insulated jackets. These holes create air pockets, and when you have a blanket over the top, heat from your body gets trapped in those little holes, and the blanket on the top holds it in. And so you get toasty warm from the heat of your own body. That is how thinsulate works. That's how duck down jackets, lined jackets work, because the feathers have like little pockets in between them, and air gets trapped in there, and then it's like a puffy jacket. It has an outer and an inner lining, and the in-between, the squishy in-between, is where all the air is trapped, and that's your body heat that's trapped in there, and that's what creates an insulation. So holy blankets are not a bad thing. They are a good thing. Okay. All right, let's work our last row as a plain old double crochet. Chain 3, turn your work, and double crochet, not into that stitch, but into this stitch and all the way across into every chain 1 space and into every a double crochet. And count as you go. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and yes, this is how fast I crochet. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and into the last 2, 16 and 17. Slow the video down if you need to, or go back to the beginning where we worked it really slow, or work another couple of rows until you get the hang of it. But there's our nothing. Isn't that something? I know, that's terrible, terrible. After this, we will, I think we're going to stop here. And if this is, like I said, this is the thing that if you want to roll it up and make a scroll out of it, you can. And you know what? I think we're going to continue. I think we're going to continue on working the next stitches, which are similar but different. We're going to work a triple crochet next. Now, it's actually called a treble crochet, and that's treble like this. T-R-E-B-L-E, like in music. It's a treble. Well, I always called it a triple, but this is going to be a treble crochet, so forgive me if I call it a triple. Now, for a treble crochet, you can chain 3, you can chain 4, and then turn your work. Now, in a double crochet, we yarned over before we inserted our hook. For a treble crochet, we're going to yarn over twice. Okay? You're going to be relying upon your finger, your tension finger hand, to help you pull a little bit of yarn to get that twice. Okay? And you want, like I've been saying all along, you want this loop to be loose enough on here that it slides up and down on the hook, the shaft of the hook, because you're going to be turning this to try and accomplish getting that yarn over. So practice that a little bit. And use the beak of the hook to grab that yarn and hold it while you yarn over again. That takes some practice to get the hang of that. It doesn't come easy. Because sometimes you'll be like wonking way out here, I'll be wonking way over here, and just kind of like really sideways. I've done some crazy stuff myself. But eventually you'll get the hang of it. Yarn over twice, and then it's worked almost exactly like the double crochet that we just did. So if you have to this first time do this, you do that until you can get it down right. We are not working into that first stitch because that chain 4 that we did is that first stitch. That counts as our first stitch. We are instead going to work into this stitch. Okay? So I'm going to put my thumb right by where we're going to work. I'm going to yarn over twice, and I'm going to insert my hook into that stitch. Okay? Just like a double crochet, just like every other stitch we've done. You're going to yarn over and pull up a loop. Now, it's going to look like you have 4 loops on the hook. You pretty much do. You're going to yarn over and you're going to pull through 2 loops on the hook. And now you're going to have 3 loops on the hook. Now you're going to yarn over and you're going to pull through 2 more loops on the hook. That's the double. And you're going to yarn over and you're going to pull through the last 3 loops on the hook. That is the treble. That is the trouble with trebles. Okay, let's do it again. Yarn over twice. Insert your hook into the next stitch, yarn over, and pull up a loop. You're going to see 4 loops on the hook, sorry. You're going to yarn over, pull through 2 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through 2 more loops on the hook, yarn over, and pull through the last 2 loops on the hook. You're going to pull through like that 3 times. That's what makes it a treble. Okay? And they're tall. Look at how big those guys are. And then with worsted weight crochet or worsted weight yarn, yeah, they get pretty big. But I'll tell you what, in thread crochet, it's when you're doing thread crochet, it's not that big. All right, let's work another couple of them together because these are kind of crazy. They're really long, and it's not something that you're going to see all the time, especially in blankets and stuff. You're not always going to use. This is not a well-used stitch. The single crochets, the half double crochets, and the double crochets you're going to see the majority of those over and over and over again. So if you want to just practice this a little bit to do the trebles, and then cut this and go back and do this whole thing all over again just for practice, make another nothing, then yeah, do that. All right, let's work this stitch again. Yarn over twice, insert your hook into the next stitch, yarn over and pull up a loop, 4 loops on the hook, yarn over and pull through 2 loops on the hook, yarn over and pull through 2 more loops on the hook, and yarn over and pull through the last 2 loops on the hook. Okay? I do have a block pattern. I have a couple of block blanket patterns that I have where I use a triple crochet. I don't use it row after row after row like this, but I do incorporate it in my pattern. And if you follow along and I eventually get that block or that blanket done, you'll see how I use it in my stitches, in my patterns. Now, when you're looking through your books, if you buy a book that has some directions for stuff, there's going to have symbols in there, so make sure you're reading what the symbol is and the how many times to repeat this, that, or the other. Okay, we're almost to the end. We're going to yarn over twice, insert our hook into the loop, into the stitch, yarn over and pull up a loop, 4 loops on the hook. Yarn over and pull through 2 loops, that's 1. Yarn over, pull through 2 more loops, that's 2. Yarn over and pull through the last 2 loops, that's 3. Okay, now we're going to do it in the last 2 stitches to make our 17. Okay, looking pretty good. Now, one of the things that you might notice when you're doing this is that the single crochet end is pretty tight. The way the fabric feels, it's pretty tight. I'm not going to pull and stretch on this because things can get really weird and wonky, but this is a pretty tight stitch down here. And in the half double crochet, it's a little looser. In the double crochet, it's even looser. You can see how the fabric give, and this is like the drape of the fabric. It's not a very big piece to look at drape, but you can see how the flow of it is even looser, way looser than what this was. And with these triples, that's really out there. All right, let's do another row of triples. Never know when you're going to need these. Okay, chain 4 and turn your work. Okay, yarn over twice. We are not working into that stitch, we are working into this stitch. I'm so sorry, I just went ahead and did it, didn't I? Yarn over twice. We are not working into that stitch, we are working into this stitch. Insert your hook into the stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop. Yarn over, draw through 2 loops on the hook. Yarn over, draw through 2 more loops on the hook, and yarn over and draw through the last 2 loops on the hook. There's your treble. Yarn over twice, insert your hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, draw through 2, 3 times. Okay? The more you do it, the more muscle memory you'll have going, working with you. And you know, like I said, if you make a mistake, this is nothing. This is nothing. Unravel it and rework it again. Yarn over twice, insert your hook into the next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop. Yarn over, draw through 2, yarn over, draw through 2, yarn over, draw through the last 2. Okay? Now, I'm not a fan of something that's worked only in treble crochets because they're kind of stringy. I don't know what else to call them, but they can be kind of stringy. They're long, they're loopy. I mean, they can be a really interesting stitch if they're done in combination with other stitches, but I wouldn't make one whole item out of something like that. It's like so stretchy. See how it just really pulls where the single crochet is really tight? Now we're just making a nothing here, so I mean, it's not meant to be perfection, but this is a practice swatch. So with practice, you're going to do another row. Chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Turn your work. Yarn over twice. And do not work in that first stitch, but work into this stitch. That was one of my biggest mistakes when I first started learning to crochet, was I kept trying to crochet into that first stitch. And then I couldn't understand why my project kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Triple crochets. Now, if you want to, when you get to the end, if you want to continue on and do a row of triple crochet, chain 1, triple crochet, just for the heck of it and just for practice, you go for it. If you want to cut this and forever be done trying to figure out stupid stitches, then you cut your yarn and just set yourself free. Go for it. I release you. I am going to, however, continue on in another video after this one, a different video, where I'm going to work some other types of stitches, combination stitches, I guess we could say, where I'm going to do different stitch patterns that have been out for a really long time. It's a combination of singles, half doubles, doubles, chain 1s. I think the next video I'm going to do after this is I'm going to work clusters and popcorns, like baubles, and we'll do that. We'll do that on a different swatch. I think this one's ready to go to the barn. It's ready to be set free. I'm going to cut it. Bye. Now, when I end off my work, if you are certain this is where you want to be, and this is the end of your, let's say it's a block or the end of your blanket, I will yarn over and chain twice to end my project and pull the tail all the way through, okay? Then I will come back down here and I'm going to tighten this up. Now, mind you, this is only when I'm 100% certain the blanket is perfect, because this is really hard to undo. But I do this because it really makes the knot harder to see. It's not big and doesn't stand out and hit you in the face and go, gosh, there's where I ended the block. Okay, so I've got two, I pulled through 2 chains. I did like chain 2 times, okay? I'm pulling this loop out just a little bit, and I'm going to grab the top of this last loop that I made, and I'm going to give it a tug. And you see how the first loop that I made gets real snug now. It's real snug to the last chain that I made, the last stitch that I made. I'm going to take my tail and I'm going to pull. I'm going to pull it really tight, and that is the end. That's the end of how I end my blocks. And that's what you can do too. Then, of course, you're going to take a needle and just weave this in. Well, that's the end of today. Like I said, my next video will work on some clusters and some popcorns, and we'll meet you then.